10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Competition Plus fan, Monday Morning Racer here. Power Hour is live right now, and we're looking forward to having a great show. My co-host, he will be on shortly. He chimed in and let me know this is the show we've got lined up for tonight. So tonight we're looking at having John on, our correspondent from Australia. It didn't work out last week because, well, it went to spam. It went to the spam folder. That happens a lot in the case of international emails. That happens a lot, but we've got it worked out, and he should be on the show tonight. And then we will have former champion, championship hopeful for this year, funny car pilot in the NHRA, Matt Hagan, will be on the show at 10 p.m. So we're definitely going to be talking with those fine gentlemen. We'll be yakking it up soon enough with myself and Sam once Sam is on. And we will be talking all about what you want to talk about in the world of drag racing. A lot of drama, certainly, over the weekend from the most recent national event in Las Vegas. So, would love to hear you chime in on your thoughts on the most recent NHRA race. Thought it was a great race. Nonetheless, there is plenty to talk about and even controversy, but we go into a NHRA finals in Pomona that is definitely exciting for you and I as drag racing fans. Also this weekend, coming up, I do want each and every one of you to know, if you've never been to a Southeast Gasser Association race, you need to catch the Southeast Gasser Association race, their last race of the year at Shelby, North Carolina's Shady Side Dragway. They're going to be racing there. They're going to be at it for the last race of the year. If you have not seen these like drag racer reenactors, as I really like to think of them, you need to check these guys out. So that's Shady Side Dragway, Shelby, North Carolina. Check those guys out if you're able to. You're on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast and you can travel, like last year they had some individuals all the way from California and North Carolina to witness Southeast Gasser Association drag racing. We've got that to look forward to this weekend, and then Pomona rolling on. Let's get to some of your comments. Many of you are already chiming in. Drag Racing Central, we back. Yes. Stan, thank you for chiming in. Saw Sam in Vegas. Well, Sam should be on shortly. Don't know how long it's going to be, but he will be on shortly. Superstar Bob chimes in. Mike Mercer. Sean, race manipulation in multiple classes. That is the obvious point. That is the obvious element to discuss. And I know I want to discuss that with Sam. Hopefully he is on soon and we can talk about that. Stan, obviously we need to talk about elite racing. Yes, we do. Drag Racing Central on the elite deal. Why do drag racing fans act like this is so new? It happens everywhere. Look at F1. Stan already chimes in. Can you ask Bobby if Comp Plus forum is gone forever? Oh, I don't know. I have no clue, man. I'm not sure about that. That's a new one on me. We'll have to ask Bobby about that. So, I definitely do want to talk about elite motorsports, race manipulation, taking dives, whatever you want to say, however you want to put it. Definitely want to talk about that. I do want to wait for my co-host to come in before we do chat about that. He was there at Las Vegas. But me watching from the television broadcast, you got to wonder. You have to wonder for sure. Matt, is the six-pack Sam you are waiting on? Yes, folks, if everybody remembers, and we've got to ask Sam this. So last week, great show. We were supposed to have John on, but it didn't work out. Hopefully he is on tonight. Well, Lyle Barnett stayed with us for most of the show, almost the entirety of the show. Had a great show with him. And Sam chimed in later on during the show and asked Lyle, hey, man, if you win, I will consume a six-pack of your choice. And for Lyle, that would be Yuengling Light, apparently. So, yes, we've got to learn from Sam if he has held up his end of the bargain and consumed that six-pack or not, because he did lose out. And by the way, my pick for Pro Stock Dallas Glenn, well, worked out. Eric says, pays to be part of a team. Yeah. Scott Malpass, Lyle makes Sam drink better. No, I don't think I don't think Lyle would do that. I do not think Lyle would do that. Stan says, I changed my Rookie of the Year vote to Dallas. Well, man, he definitely makes the case now. One more win, another appearance, and going to finalize himself in the top 5 of points, I imagine, for sure, if not top 3. And he has made a great case for himself for Rookie of the Year honors, along with Josh Hart. I have not put my vote in. I'm weighing everything. I'll be putting my vote in later. Got till November 8th to do that. But with that win, and when you factor in one of the first points of the criteria for voting on Rookie of the Year is how many events attended. That is a part of the criteria. When you've put that into perspective, Dallas Glenn definitely seems like a good option. But Josh is too. This is one of those years, it is not clear-cut on who the winner is. And Josh even put out a post on his social media saying, man, why can't we just split this thing? This is one of those years I think it would be good to see a split. It would be good to see at least the individual classes recognize their top performing individual. So, yeah. Josh has done great. Dallas has done great. And what about Dallas in the final round? Erica Enders lays down a stellar run. If I recall correctly, a 006 light, and he gets it done with a 001 light. Impressive. The rookie certainly is not driving like no rookie. He's driving like a veteran. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, Dallas Glenn is not new to driving. It's not like he just got into a car for the first time this year. Maybe a pro stock car beyond operating in the burnout sessions and tire testing and breaking tires in. But he's competed in the sportsman ranks for a long time. And frankly, in the sportsman ranks right now, from your local drag strip to the $1 million races, you've got to be on point to win a drag race. You have got to be on the lights, and you've got to be on your dial in, and you got to be driving right on the top end to win a drag race. And that's something that Dallas has been used to, and he's been preparing for, and now he's showing his capability, certainly in the professional categories. Doug Core, how about 10 wins for Steve and Team Capco, and the 50th win for Steve Torrence? What an amazing career already, and it looks like the sky is the limit for him and that team. And look, I loved the cover that Drag Illustrated had recently. It was the team, and didn't even have Steve Torrence on it. It was the team showcasing that group, those individuals, and how instrumental they are to the performance and what is happening over there. And I wonder at times if enough credit is really given to Steve Torrence and the Capco boys on what they have been able to accomplish. It is really up there with Schumacher level performance, Garlett level performance, Dixon level performance. Those type of names, when you mention them, you've also got to mention Torrence now as well. Drag Racing Central chimes in and says, I'm curious what NHRA thinks about it. They got onto force about it in 2009. Well, I assume you're mentioning of, as some have said, race manipulation, the taking a dive, so on, so on. I haven't heard anything. I've heard that the NHRA was looking at data. They were inspecting things, and I have not heard anything else. Have not heard a ruling. You know, there are some points there that I would like to see some consistency from the NHRA in this. When there is a fine or penalty in NASCAR, it's announced rather quickly in our day and time. Whether right or wrong, it's announced quickly. And you know whether or not that fine or penalty is going to remain around Tuesday or Wednesday because the appeal process has to happen quickly. And far as I know, that really doesn't seem to happen in NHRA drag racing. Michael chimes in from Pittsburgh. Hey, great to have you watching from Pittsburgh. And, what is the sandwich shop there in Pittsburgh? The Brothers, Pimenti Brothers. They have great sandwiches. I've had some of those sandwiches in Pittsburgh, by the way. Thoughts on his run against Tripp? Don't recall right now. Again, I didn't get to see all of the broadcast. Todd chimes in. Lyle Barnett is the man in Pro Mod and doing it with a turbo. Wow, impressive. Mike Ashley, I will vote for Lee. Can I write you in? Well, Mike, maybe write me in for the Drag Illustrated 30 under 30 or something. I don't know. Or write me in for Bobby for a nomination or something. I don't know. Speaking of Bobby, I've got him on right now. Bobby, how's it going?
Big ass. Sorry, guys. I've been battling a migraine from hell, but here I am killing it.
Well, I'm glad you're on. We don't got Sam right now. Still waiting for him. He's traveling back to sunny San Diego on the road. Oh, we just had Sam. He might be in here soon enough. So, look, Bobby, Rookie of the Year, real quickly, your thoughts after this weekend, everything Josh has done, everything Dallas has done. You've seen a lot of rookies come and go. What are your thoughts, man?
Well, the thing is that for Josh, you have to weigh in the factor that he started a fuel team from scratch, and he's been able to actually win in his very first race, which we all know that is just something that does not happen every day. And fuel racing and pro stock, two different worlds. It's very tough. Each one has its own its own things that makes it challenging enough. Okay, let's weigh this out here. Now Josh, he built a fuel team from scratch, a single car team. Okay, then you've got Dallas. He basically bought a ride. A prepared ride with KB Racing. Nothing wrong with that, because it takes so much driving talent just to win in a pro stock, whether you bought in or leased a ride, or it's your or it's your own team. Either way, I think you just have to weigh in with your heart, what you feel, what you believe. Actually, this is a media vote. And those were the factors that we took in. I will not reveal who I voted for. I voted for who I thought was the best. I don't think you go wrong with either of the two leading candidates.
So Mike Ashley does ask you, in lieu of that particular question that I asked you just a moment ago, who is your favorite rookie of all time? That's an interesting question.
Mike Ashley, 1989, 211 through the grass at Englishtown. That's my rookie of the year.
There we go. Is there footage of that out there somewhere? I got to see that.
Dude, you don't even need footage. That's the stuff that legends are just seeing the car and grass flying everywhere. And there goes Mike Ashley, never lifting. He crashed about 7 times. He just didn't hit anything.
Glad it was Englishtown. There you go. Bobby, look, speaking of legends, great job with Kenny Bernstein. I finally got to watch it last week and learned so much about Kenny Bernstein, his life, racing career. So kudos to you in putting that together. It was well worth the wait. Good job, man.
Thank you, sir. And I have to tell you, I always say when I finish one legend, how am I going to top it? But I think the next one's going to be almost as good. Billy Meyer, living that life on the edge, just a bad boy. So, well, what did you how did you feel about what others thought? I didn't really give a bleep of what people thought about me. I was there to achieve a goal. But if I can touch on one subject, we're talking about race manipulation. Okay? We talk about, well, we need to break up these teams and all that. Well, where's your proof? Did someone come out and say it? Did they say we threw the race? Did you hear that? Sam, did you hear that?
Yeah, nothing verbal of that nature. Okay. No.
Then what you've got is speculation.
That is true.
Unless you got solid proof, that's all you got is speculation. Oh, yeah, we can break up the teams and all this and all that, but what do? Can you knock people out of a ride? So then what have you achieved? Okay, you've achieved nothing. It's a part of the sport. It's part of winning. That's the way some people are going to win, and that's it. I mean, you see this in NASCAR. You see it in all kinds of racing. And it is in drag racing. I say the more teams, the merrier. If you prove it, that's all I got to say. It isn't what you know. This is one thing that I learned in journalism a long time ago. It isn't what you know. It's what you can prove. It's what you can prove. You can speculate all day long, as we say down south, till the cows come home, but it doesn't mean a thing. It's just speculation.
I won't put my 2 cents speculation. Sam, look, on the road, but good to have you on the show. You were there. Your thoughts?
Lee, you would bring me in on this topic as you and I discussed this earlier as I'm still in traffic trying to drive down the road here. But what's the big hoopla about it? Because when the shoe was on the other foot, no one complained about it. I get it, Lee, you've said it, we want an answer, we want justification for, okay, what happened? But why do we need justification for it? I told you this, Lee, earlier. If Barry Bonds was up to bat or, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa hitting those home runs that they were doing, yes, people are going to say they were on steroids, but that's another fact. But did the pitcher throw that fastball to be like, hey, here's your 1,000th home run, let's get this over with and on with the game, right? It's one of those moments. It's one of those moments in Formula One racing or anything that we see these teams say, hey, this guy's going to pass. In bicycle racing, they do this. You have your grunts that go out and lead the pace. In track and field, they do that. What's the big deal? There was one media outlet, and I'm not going to say his name, but who likes to post everyone else's work and say, well, this person does this, and this is why I have my opinion about this team owner and this and this. How do you know Troy didn't say, hey, you know what? I don't have a shot at this. You do. Maybe I'm going to shut down. Maybe I have a parts failure. There's no rule against it. There's no rule about, hey, guess what? My car shut off. I don't see the big problem in it. Do we look at the bigger picture? Yeah. Does it take quote unquote integrity away from the sport? But then why do we stack the ladder? That's playing the odds. That's what we're doing here. We're racing to play the odds to maybe help your teammate or someone that you pit next to win a championship. Get over it. It's racing. Guess what? No matter what happened, that wasn't the final round. The final round came down to Erica, because obviously that's what we're talking about here. Erica running Dallas Glenn, and they both put up a great fight. So my thoughts, everybody out there in the comment world, social media world, get over it. We live to see another day, and it's going to happen again. Maybe just in the pro stock field, it was a lot more obvious, but it probably happening in funny car and everything else, especially with how tight everything is right now. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's like, hey, man, I can take this person out for you, or I can try and take them out for you first round so you can try and, have a shot. So,
yeah, you can have rules all day long. You can have rules all day long. But unless you can prove someone broke that rule, then you don't have squat, okay? You don't have squat. And the only way you're going to be able to prove it is if they admit it. And if they don't admit it, then what have you got? You're back at square one.
But my thing is, even if we've all said it, rules are what? Meant to be broken. Just because the speed limit on San Diego's freeway says 70, I'm not the only person that's not going 70. Oh, well, it happens. Get over it. Also, Stan. I know Stan gives us a lot of crap in the comments and everything like that. I got to meet Stan. Great guy, came by, talked it over. But, yeah, it was great to see him. Great to see you guys out there of the Power Hour world saying hi, noticing us out at the track. No one asked about you, Lee. I think they're kind of tired of seeing you and want to see more of me, but hey. But they did ask about you, Bobby.
Yeah, the Amish guy gets no respect. No respect at all.
No, I did have a couple of people.
Wait a minute. I think we're missing a point. I think we're missing a point in all of this so-called manipulation. No one is forced to win a race. If you don't want to win a race, you can always lose a race. No one says you have to win a race. Is that a rule?
And look, drag racers ought to be the best of them all. I mean, match racing was built upon, let's make sure we get to the third run out of the best 2 out of 3. I mean, it's nothing new. It is nothing new. It has happened for a long time. I'm not shocked.
But at this point, Lee, like you said earlier, everybody just wants an answer. You have one interview that says one thing. You have, the NHRA, the Fox broadcast saying that one person said one thing, and then you have a video of someone else saying another. But at the end of the day, there's drama, there's commotion in pro stock. When everyone said pro stock was so dead, it's not. Okay, we've talked about it. I heard you guys talking about it when I was trying to log in and lost you guys. I heard you guys talking about it. We talked about it. Let's talk about something that's more exciting. Like to me, I want to talk about Lyle Barnett. That's exciting. Very, very exciting. And Lee, you know that. Let's talk about how great Funny Car's been all year. Why are we're focusing on one little minor thing that we all knew prior to this week. We talked about it last week. Prior to this week, we all knew it was going to happen. If you walked into Vegas saying someone's not going to play the field and play the ladder, then you obviously haven't paid attention to drag racing at all.
Dude, they do this. They even do this in girls softball. I watch teams that are A class go in and lose their pool games purposely to get a lower seeding so they can win a tournament from a low bracket. It's part of the thing. And even let's go back to the John Force fiasco in 2009. Did we ever have any definitive proof that race was thrown? No. We can guess it. We can speculate it, but we got no proof. So what if you have no proof? What do you have to go on? You have to go on what happened on the track, right? Right. Yeah. That's just the way it is. It's just like you can think your old lady cheated on you, but unless you can prove it, it didn't happen. Right? In the divorce court, That's the way it is. Oh, and let me go ahead and touch on something before we move on to something. Somebody was asking about what happened with the Competition Plus forum. We actually ended the Competition Plus forum. When we started it back in 1999, 2000, it was an integral part of our program because at the time message boards were part of the community. But as it went on, then spammers and scammers, they started to use this. And in fact, they used it as a gateway to get into our mainframe and actually bring down the website. And just to be honest, ended up costing me about $25,000 to fix. It was starting to get pretty malicious again. Okay. And then I looked at the risk versus the reward. And I'm a business owner. Put yourself in my shoes. If something that is not making you money and has a potential to basically put you out of business, what do you do? And that's the decision I made.
Boom. There we go. An answer to that. Bobby, funny car. That's, to me, the one I think we all need to be talking about. Again, all year, the competition has been stellar. And once again, Funny Car proves to be the class of the field. And we've got Ron Capps leading, who will have later on the show, Matt Hagan is second, and mathematically in third with an opportunity, Cruz Petragon. You have right there three former champions representing complete overlapping yet different eras of drag racing. It's astonishing what we have right now in Funny Car.
Well, the Funny Car points chase, just like we said in our event recap, video recap over on Competition Plus TV, it's like Dallas weather. Just wait around 5 minutes and it'll change. And it did after this last race, putting Cruz Pedragon right in the mix of everything. I think this is the 1 year we didn't need a countdown. We haven't needed a countdown for Funny Car, but not every year is like that. Not every class is like that. I mean, this year has been one of the greatest Funny Car that I've ever seen since, I believe, back to the 1980 Top Fuel Championship. I realized when some of you guys were still in your daddy. I mean, that was an incredible championship year where at least, I believe, 5 cars had a good mathematical chance to win the championship. And by the way, Shirley Muldowney came away with the championship.
Yeah, this year, the competition, what we've seen, everybody last year likes to look back and say, oh, is it going to have an asterisk next to it because it was the COVID year? No, like Funny Car this year needs an asterisk next to it, like the champion who won the most competitive year. And
that's just BS. That's BS. For anybody who wants to put an asterisk by it, every team had the same amount of chances to win that championship. So give me a freaking break with that asterisk. Quit being a candy ass. That's how many races that we had to run. They ran it. They won the championship. Take that asterisk stuff and shove it up your rear end because it makes no sense whatsoever. That's a bunch of chickens.
I completely agree with you, Bobby. And the mention of it was
that's stupid.
Yeah. It is. I agree that, last year would be a moment of saying, oh, because there was less races or it was COVID, that you should make a note of it. If anything, this year's, make a note of it. This has been crazy competitive.
It was crazy competitive last year. I mean,
yes, it was. I mean, no denial of that.
What the hell is this about with the asterisk thing? Oh my gosh, give me a freaking break. Stuff changes. It was a fluid season. It was a crazy season. It was either that or no races at all. Take your choice.
Well, I'm glad we had the choice of racing. I'm making the fact that with the asterisk that no, don't have it that this year. If you're going to put it anywhere, put it on this year, a year that's been extremely competitive. What miscommunication are we having right now, Bobby?
Yeah, put the asterisk beside your fandom. That's what you should do. That's where you should put it. I mean, you're going to talk about, oh, well, we had less races, so it didn't matter. Well, Lottie freaking da. Everybody had the same amount of races. It is what it is. We were dealt a crappy hand in the world. Hell, I know what a crappy hand felt like. I got dealt a pretty crappy hand last year, too. But it is what it is.
It is. And I'm glad we had 2 great years, last year and this year.
Yes.
Did we talk about Lyle Barnett yet? Has anyone?
Very briefly, go ahead. What do you have you drank all the beers yet?
No, I went up to Lyle and said, "Hey, man, what's the deal here? Congratulations!" And because I had a feeling, I had an inkling in my body that I should have started earlier, but no. The beer of choice of his choosing, Yingling, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yes.
They don't sell that in Las Vegas. So, lucky me. That is on a postponed adventure. Bobby's shaking his head, but yes, no Yingling for me. But, man, heck, can we say why not, is what Lyle did this year not worthy of Rookie of the Year?
Yeah. If it extended beyond what the camping, extended beyond the Camping World Drag Racing Series. Yeah. I mean,
so here we, so
just
I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing here,
just,
Bobby. I'm setting you up.
I know, but it's just like, just the fact of what he's done in life. To come back out here and race, just the fact he got behind the wheel of a race car. I mean, I don't think anybody, I mean, some people really understand what he had to go through. But my gosh, I mean, we're talking life and death is what this guy faced. I mean, by all rights, he should have never come out of that radial versus a world car alive.
Right. Yeah.
He should have never done that. But to have him come out, and I personally watched Lyle interact with a young kid who was a burn victim at one time. That guy, I'm telling you what, you talk about a salt of the earth person. I don't care if this guy ever won another race in his lifetime or ever won one race. He's a champion in my books. And he don't need a Rookie of the Year vote or a world championship to win, to be a champion in life. That guy is everything and then some. And yes, Jules, we got up on the wrong side of the bed. It just, I can't deal with stupidity. I can't deal with it. And I mean, it's like, what does it matter if we're manipulating races? Drag racing's dead. Haven't you heard? Oh God, don't get me started. Now you're making me sound like an old cranky ass now.
Well, I mean, we didn't have to say that to make you feel that way. I think that was already proven. But, hey, to each his own. No, I just like it. I mean, Lyle Barnett starts off, with Elite in the one car and now changes cars to Erica's old setup and the turbo setup and doing phenomenal in that. And, when everyone said in the Pro Mod class that turbos were dead and you weren't going to see much more of that, I mean, look what's going on. Also, I want to say is just in the fashion he's doing it. You know what I mean? Has his dad out in the starting line with him, a crew that is a mixed combination there of guys who were in the no prep scene, in the radio scene, and now they're all working under the NHRA banner. The biggest thing that I don't like to see is someone still winning a Wally under a professional class, even though they're not under the banner. Please give them the respect that they deserve. That's the last race of their season, right? That symbolizes their season. Give them that opportunity to go up on the stage and to be a part of the celebration up there. You are a winner. You are in a professional class. I would like to see you up there. Just like in, I would like to see Top Alcohol up there. I'd like to see, I let them feel These were championship moments for these guys and girls, wrapping up a championship. Let them experience that. Why? And I think that goes further than what we're just talking about with Lyle and Pro Mod and everything like that. That gives them a taste of wanting to get to that next level, standing up on that stage and being a part of that with, a Cruz, being up there with Dallas and Steve Johnson, that there's just that little bit more an incentive, I think, and it brings the whole car culture and community together for that. So, I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
And you make a good point, but the drivers up there are part of the Camping World Drag Racing Series. Pro Mod's not part of that Camping World Drag Racing Series.
Why not?
Why? I didn't say it wasn't professional. I just said that doesn't mean that these guys aren't professional drag racers. This is just NHRA recognizing their official Camping World Drag Racing Series. Doesn't mean they can't bring them up there for an interview, but when you have that big four, that is for the Camping World Drag Racing Series. And right now, since the Pro Stock Truck thing, NHRA is not expanding to any more professional categories in their official series. It isn't what you want to hear. It's not what I want to say, but that's the reality of it.
Well, talking about expanding, Bobby, why don't you introduce our next guest, the Competition Plus Australian correspondent, to the show right after the break?
Right now?
Go ahead, introduce him, and then we'll take the break.
Well, John Doig is a lot like me. He's old and cranky. John Doig also tells it like he sees it. He calls it like he sees it. And he lives in a world where journalism has gone to the point where writers and mainstream media like to tell you how to think instead of just presenting the facts and letting you make your own decisions. With that said, that is a reason why we selected John Doig. He's a guy that presents the facts and lets you choose what to believe. Right now, at the point, we very rarely run any Australian press releases because everything's so slanted and everything. And John gives us a straightforward view. So coming up after this break from Competition Plus Apparel, which today the Scotty Cannon 1998 Pro Mod shirts came in the Studebaker. We still have some, but they're going real quick. So make sure you go to Competition Plus Apparel and get your Scotty Cannon Heritage Series t-shirts.
Get your CompetitionPlus.com apparel today. Whether it's our nitro-burning funny car design or the vibrant door slammer design, we have the swag to show you are always in the know. Get yourself a hat too. And we know not everyone enjoys wearing a mask, but if you must wear one, at least wear a good-looking one. Check out the new CompetitionPlusApparel.com for the latest from the place where you have trusted for your news on the internet for over 2 decades.
John, welcome to the show, man.
Lee, thank you very much for having me on there. And thank you, Bobby, my mate, for those kind and generous words. Thank you.
Well, John, look, first and foremost, before we dive into the specifics of what in the world is happening down under in Australia, talk to us about, inform what is predominantly an American audience, what drag racing is like and how popular drag racing is in Australia.
One of the things is that in Australia, we use terms like we spell tyres different. So there are differences between drag racing has fallen off the radar a little bit, mainstream media, unless there's a massive accident and somebody or there's something else involved in drag racing. Similar to NASCAR, we have our own supercar series. But drag racing, hopefully there's a bit of a 2022 and the sport's on the way back after, being a little bit down in the doldrums. During COVID, there have been some developments that I talk about that could see the sport we'll never go back to the way it was, and I don't think we wanted to go back. We wanted to go forward, and particularly with Top Fuel, there's some exciting developments in the future.
Well, good to hear that we have the possibility of things moving forward. It definitely has seemed that Australian drag racing has had a roller coaster ride of lately. Let's see. Well, I'm going to take Bobby. Bobby, you still there with us?
Yeah, guys, I got to go, man. I didn't
Okay,
work myself
go.
up a migraine headache again.
All right. Good. Well, go take something for that.
Just a quick question for Bobby before he does go. Bobby, returning to Australia, a visitor in the past, and I know that Jules Lamb, the number one member of your fan club, would like to know, any chance in 2022 you might journey down under? Come on, let's know.
Well, it's not looking too good right now. I have to look more towards my health. Okay. And not taking any real unnecessary risk. I'm at the point where I've been working to get myself in better shape. I've slimmed down 41 pounds now, which means I'm even sexier than I used to be. And
right, I'll pass that on to Jules, but we won't go there, right? Let's not go there.
I love going down to Australia. It's like the country where, coming back, if you have a terrible Tuesday, you can have it to do all over again. So you leave there on a Tuesday, get there on a Thursday when you're going from the United States to Australia, and you have no idea where Wednesday went to. And I said, I haven't lost a day like that since the Super Bowl party in '93, when I don't even know what happened on the Monday afterwards.
Good on you. Okay, we'll go. See you, Bobby. See you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, Lee, over to you. How would you like if I just spent 38 seconds sort of summing up where we are and what's 2022 looking for Australian drag racing? How would that be?
Yeah, man, clue us in, because, one reason why I wanted to have you on the show is I see this news blurb of a track is about to be sued or something. And I'm like, whoa, there's legal action happening. What in the world is going on in drag racing down there? And I even got a private message from one individual that's like, yeah, they even want people to be hush hush. Like, wow.
Absolutely. Look, one thing in 2022 in March, when it first hit, people had a lot of time to think about where the sport should be heading in the future, for good and for bad, or for whatever. That's occupied people's time. And here we are in November, where we've got IHRA, which is the governing. Now, I try to keep it simple because it is a bit complex. IHRA Australia is governing the sanction 400 Thunder Series. Okay. Now, Sydney, the racetrack, was a IHRA sanctioned track. They have dumped IHRA and gone back to Andra, who have been around since 1975. And what's happened is IHRA are saying, well, listen, you can't just walk out. We've got an agreement with you that runs for 3 more years, and you can't just up and out and jump into bed, and live with us. So that's where it is, heading to the courts. And as they say, 2 places you never want to go: hospital and the courts, because lawyers are the winners.
Wow. Fascinating that it has come to that.
Yeah, but look, let's look at how it came about. There's a bit of background behind this. The great development and the news out of Australia is that we've got for the first time since ever, we're having the Top Fuel drivers have taken their fate into their own hands, and they're running their own series. So you've got Santo Raposada, Phil Lamont. We are sick of being, run around a little bit at times. We're going to run our own series. So they put their hand in their back pocket, and let me say, they put hand deep in their back pocket, and they're running their own series. 6 rounds, starts in June, covers around the country, and they are pumped. They're having a test and tune this weekend at Sydney. 3 of the teams are going to be we have to cover closures. So what's it mean? Well, I think it's exciting because Top Fuel is the premier class. There's no question about that. And the chance for a series to go around the country under a management of a guy called Andy Lopez. Now, I've never met Andy. I'm meeting him on Friday for the first time when I go to Sydney and have a chat with him. He runs Summer Nats. It's like a car show, burnout, bikini babes type of thing each year. It is massive. So Phil and the teams have said to Andy, okay, listen, mate, I'm going to give you all this money. You go ahead and you organise it and you make it happen. Andy is one of probably the top 2 or 3 motorsport promoters in the country. And if anyone can make a fist of it and make it happen, it's Andy. The other thing is it's not going to be like drag racing as we know it. It's going to be more of like an extreme sport. It's going to be exciting and it's not going to drag on and on and on and on. We're not going to have cars running on the track at 1 o'clock in the morning, which we have in the past here. It's going to be short, sharp, exciting and engaging. So that's the great news. Starts in January.
Well, glad that, it's fascinating developments of like Top Fuel wanting to create its own series and how that will play out. And, I know from watching what I can catch on YouTube, it's been an interesting development with like the nostalgia funny cars running and doing their deal. It's been fascinating to watch. So great to see that there are some good developments ahead for drag racing down there in Australia. So Sam, let's bring you in. I know you got some questions for John. John, Sam's my co-host here on the Competition Plus Power Hour.
Sam.
So Sam, take it away.
Hey, John, just wondering, with the fires you guys had and everything, were there many people in you guys' area or, cars, tracks, anything like that? Was there many damage to the car community there?
No. It was in rural Australia, not in the capital cities. And if you look at a map of Australia, it's an east coast, sort of from Queensland through. If I can just go back a little bit to talk about, well, obviously with Top Fuel, they have 400 Thunder series. Now, if I can give you a parallel, it would be like Top Fuel and Nitro Funny Car walking away from the Camping World Series and running their own series. Now, it's going to have a massive impact on the rest of the sport. And let's face it, drag racing Top Fuel is the pinnacle. But listen, it's underpinned by hundreds and hundreds and maybe even thousands of races and businesses and spectators as well. So the 400 Thunder are running their own series, by the way, starting in January. Fascinating month, absolutely fascinating. We've got the Top Fuel running at Sydney for the first time, their own series. And then I think it's 2 weeks later, or maybe even earlier, I'm not sure, 400 Thunder running their own series without Top Fuel. They run Door Slammer or Top Door Slammer, Pro Slammer, alcohol, Pro Stock, bikes, and a couple of other categories plus support categories. So we're going to have 2 events which are going to give us an indication of where drag racing's headed in 2022. Absolutely fascinating. Question. Come on.
Go ahead, Lee.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was waiting for Sam to go and
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
You're
Anyway,
good. You're good. You're good.
I should say period end. Next question. So anyway, look, January will be terrific. You should let's pencil in a late January update on how 400 Thunder handled without Top Fuel, and also how did this new Top Fuel series go? Are the punters going to flock to it? Or are they going to just won't see it as that? Who knows? Who knows how it's going to play out? One thing Top Fuel series is, and I don't want to sound as if I'm pumping it up all the way, they got some cars coming back. The last decade we've had really low car counts. Santo Raposada has really carried the sport. He's had 3 cars, sometimes 4, and sometimes we've only had 6 or 5, or even at the last meeting, 3 top fuel cars. So is bringing out 2 cars. Jim Reed one, Peter Zibris a car, and Santo, well, that's the $64 question. He's got a fleet of cars. I believe this weekend Wayne Newby is testing, because his other driver is Damien Harrison, lives in Western Australia, and he can't get into New South Wales. So I add another intrigue here, a question. Will we see an American come out? Because Santo in the past decade has always had, we've had Larry Dixon, we've had Ashley Sanford, Cameron Ferrer, he's been out here, and we've had Richie Crampton. He's always ran 3 cars, and the third one has always been an American import, and that has been really successful. So here's a question, and I'll be asking Santo this question on Friday, and you'll be able to read it on Competition Plus. Santo, any chance of an American coming out again this year? The other question is, Santo, and I'm going to whisper this into his ear, and I'll come in close. Hey, Santo, any chance in America in the future? Oh, okay. Now, Santo has a workshop, a car, trailer, all the bits and pieces just around the corner from John Doyle. He has a house that we stay at when we race. Let's go back. The last time we raced in America was the Nationals in 2019. He has family in America that he hasn't seen since 2019. So, Santo, any chance you might go back to America? Just share that information with me. Okay? Crossed, because he has a cult following over there. The boys love it, and he looks at all the results. You know, Monday morning NHRA results, his fingers going up and down the charts and figuring out, oh, if we were over there now, we could be running number 9, 10, or whatever. And, you know, there's it's very seductive, if you like. So that's a question, maybe an answer next week, but fingers crossed for everybody here in Australia, and also for the people over in America who he gets on well with, the Tommy Johnsons, and the boys are tight with Dom Lagana. I will say that. And look, right across the spectrum, the team, as I said, a bit of a cult following, and they're Aussies, and they make friends, and they've got a lot of supporters and fans over there. Fingers crossed.
Drag racing is definitely a universal language from Europe, the Americas, to down under, and a strong connection there. And look, Ashley Sanford hasn't been in a ride in a while. Maybe she would be back down there. You just mentioned the Johnsons. Tommy Johnson isn't in a ride. Maybe he can be down there. So you never know. That'd be cool to see someone over there and bring some representation. Love seeing that from down under. Well, John, look, a question from one of our fans is asking Stan here, what will be the supporting classes to the Top Fuel event? So Top Fuel, obviously, like you've been saying, Pinnacle, completely agree. What else is on the card at that standalone type of event? Do you know?
I don't know, and that's something when I talk to Andy on Friday, it will be probably third question on the list to find out. But see, I don't know. We're assuming this is a traditional drag racing event, and I think it's going to be something a little bit more contemporary, a little bit more exciting, a little bit like an extreme sport culture, if you know what I mean. Okay. Because one of the best events I've been to in the last 18 months was Monster Trucks. And you know what? Kids love it. It's exciting. It's dramatic. It's all about the sizzle, the sausage and the sizzle. So I think we've got to wait and see what Andy's got planned, because he comes from a background of entertainment, if you like, as well. We can't count in or out whatever support categories will be there. One thing I do know from a brief conversation with somebody is the events will run on time. So if it says 4 o'clock, like the NHRA, 4 o'clock, move everything across, get it out of the way, we're running Top Fuel. Because here in Australia, and there'll be people jump on me for this, a little bit of a history of, well, we'll run fuel after we've run sports sedans and blah, 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 all the support categories. I have been at an event. In the last couple of years where Top Fuel went out at 1 a.m. in the morning. 23 people in the grandstand. Why? I counted them. So what they're going to do, pardon me, Top Fuel will run on time. So if you are in the crowd, or if you're having a hot dog, or if you're, whatever, 4 o'clock, yep, they're going to run on time. Same as the NHRA. And then what happens, like the NHRA, there's a stampede. Why? Because it's all about nitro. And they just, what's that noise? People leaving. So I don't know what it's going to be. I don't think we should count anything in or out. But I'll tell you what, that first event, I think it will shake up the culture and the background of drag racing and make it a little bit more contemporary, drag it into the 21st century, make it exciting, get the kids involved, face painting. I mean, who knows? Maybe all the drivers have to get face painted or something. Might be an idea. Oh, the other one, throw in this one, why not draw for lane choice? Who knows? I just don't know. It will anyway, that's it. I think I've spoken long enough. You've probably got Matty Hagan hanging in the wings, have you?
Not yet. No, he's not in the waiting room just yet. So we can throw some more Australian questions at you. Sam, what you got?
Yeah, I just want to know, like, from talking to the people around and the racing community there, what do you think the support, kind of like the question before, what do you think the support is? How are the racers feeling about this? How are fans, people that, are excited to see this? What are people thinking or kind of building up to this?
Sure. We're a way off. We're talking January now. Between now and then, who knows what COVID's going to do. And here where I live in Melbourne, we had 260 days locked up. We came in last Friday for the first time. Who knows what's going to happen in the interim? The other thing is there hasn't been a race since the Winter Nationals back in June. So we're in this sort of limbo, if you like, stage where people are talking online and, all that Facebook and the social media, people who just can run amok. So we're in limbo, and I just think that we need to get people back to the tracks. We need everybody to see, pardon me, the drivers to get together. I know the Top Fuel drivers, their group, they have a Zoom meeting every Monday to talk about things. The other categories are talking, obviously, as well, because if I own a pro slammer, I want to know, am I only going to be able to run at 400 Thunder events? Could I run on a Top Fuel card? And also, how many rounds of pro slammer will I get for my expensive car to run it? Because at the moment, next year, they've got one in January, one in April, and then Winter Nationals in June. So, I haven't raced for a long time. I want to get out there. I want to race as much as possible. However, there's also the other element that who knows what the reality is, the economic reality is, an impact that will have with people being away, because once you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Well, that works the other way as well. So wait and see. The other thing is that we need to look at where the Winter Nationals, that's in June now. Okay, we're 8 months away, but at this stage, Top Fuel will not be appearing at the Winter Nationals. They're only running at Andra tracks at the moment. And Top Fuel at the Winter Nationals would be, well, last year they had 3 cars. They had Phil Lamartina. And look, 3 cars, okay, it's 3 cars, but we need a few more. So that will be important, because the Winter Nationals is like your US Nationals and your Winter Nationals rolled into one. It is the event. So we need to see what impact all of this is going to have on the sport as well. So wait and see. But I'll tell you what, it will start this Friday with a 2-day test and tune in Sydney with the few cars out there. 2 Lamartina cars with his new driver testing. Phil Reed will be running, and Wayne Newby for Rapasadas. And there'll be people there who haven't seen everybody, friends for 6 months who are involved in the sport. Be a little bit like first day back at school after holidays. Who's had a haircut? Who's done this? Who's done that? It'll be that excitement. There'll be a bit of excitement, and I'm hoping that will carry on until January when we get back into real racing.
So, John, we have Jules Lamb asking about Rachel Splatter.
Well, if Rachel's listening, you need to go into witness protection because her name is Rochelle Splat.
Okay. Rochelle. I was wondering if it was be that.
Well, listen, let's try it again. Who do you want to know about? What's her name? Come on.
Rochelle Splatter.
Splat. It's Rochelle Splat.
Oh, it's just Splat. Okay.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
Splat.
Listen, mate, I'm giving you a third chance. Otherwise, I'm going to hang up on you. So try again. What's her name? Come on, what's her name?
Rochelle Splat.
Good. What was it? No, I'm only joking. Rochelle Splat has raced in America. She was the first woman to run over 300 miles an hour. Money, budget problems, which is not unusual in any sport, but particularly drag racing. She has a car that she bought from Lamartina's, and she's run intermittently, I'd say, over the last 5 or 6 years. The plan is at the moment, I believe, that she will run her fuel car out of the Ziberus workshop. But for all intents and purposes, this new series, it's a privately owned series, by the way. It's Reed, Lamartina, Santo, Reposada, and Ziberus. However, if I've got a fuel car in the shed here, which I'll just check in a minute, I'm sure they'd invite me, and you enable it's an extra car. So Rochelle, I think, the plan is she will run in the new series, but at this stage, the series is they are the people who have put their both hands into both pockets, pulled out a lot of cash to make this happen. So, yep, Rochelle will be there, Jules, you know that, and we'll see how many rounds. There's a lot. There's probably a dozen cars, but it's all about the money. That's why I'll probably only run my car occasionally this year. So, just joking. I don't have a fuel car. All right, listen. One other real quick question: Nitro Funny Car. Look, we have a few there. We have some over in Perth. We have a few in Queensland, but look, we are a smaller population. We are a fuel car culture. And I looked it up before in case I got that $64 question. The record is still held by Gary Densham, set back in 2009. So every so often it comes up, let's get fuel funny cars out there. Let's see it all happen. But it's about money, and it's also struggling to tune them. Whereas in the Top Fuel group, they tend to help each other out and support each other because it's in their interest that they have another car in their next lane. So, okay.
Yeah, it seems definitely that down under, alcohol funny car seems to reign supreme in the flopper world. And, I've been given a little bit of insight working closely with Helen and Peter Russo in the past. They've, clued in about nitro and funny car down in Australia, and they even travel across to do it here, even though they haven't been able to because of COVID. So quite interesting, nitro and funny car.
Yeah, one other category which we tend to, it's part of the stampede when fuel's finished. Pro Stock seems to, over the last couple of years, made a bit of a comeback. It was at one stage there, it was literally, and I mean this in the nicest way, it was literally on life support. But the Tremaines in Queensland, and he's probably listening now, Peter Ridgway. There's a lot of backwards and forwards between American Pro Stock and Australia. The links are very, very strong. And I know that when I write something, and if I mention something well, I make an error maybe once a year, but if it's in pro stock, they're quick to, Peter Ridgway and some of the Americans are pretty quick to get on the phone and say, John, you got it wrong. So pro stock, healthy. They still run carburetors, and
Can you say that word again for me? Carburetors. I like that. Lee, that is a new official. That is a new official pronunciation.
Okay, carbies. They run a carbie. So carburetor. Okay.
I love it.
Get it right like this bloke got Rochelle Splett's name wrong. Come on, say it. Carburetor. Come on. You can't do it. No.
Carburetor.
Carburetor. Come on. I'll send you over some Vegemite. No, we don't want to go there. So I hope to. Fingers crossed. Fingers double crossed. Hope to come over for the first 2 rounds next year of NHRA. So if you're there, and it'd be good to catch up in person.
Definitely, for sure. I know.
Yeah.
I hope to make it down under and catch drag racing eventually in that part of the world and see some other motorsports as well. Because I would say, man, outside of the United States, Australia might have one of the strongest car cultures anywhere in the world.
Sure. Yeah, we have the Formula One Grand Prix in my hometown, Melbourne. I've been to covered 22 now so far. It's been pushed out next year till April. We also have, and we're getting off it, a massive sprint car culture in Australia and Knoxville. Absolutely. Been to Knoxville. Every second person there is in Australia. These shots and the what's his name, Brad Sweet, they come over here and race in our summer. Don't forget, you are back to front with us, not we're back to front with you. We're coming into summer as you head into winter. So motorsport in Australia, right across the spectrum, drag racing, sprint cars over summer is, I always thought, I don't know if you follow sprint cars, but that 4 wide before they race, mate, that is as good as it gets. And I think if I ever get sick of seeing that, I might as well walk away and do something else, because that's terrific. And the other thing is, and drag racing should always learn from other sports, and that's one of the things that we should be doing. You walk in at 4 o'clock, you get hot laps, you get time trials, you get racing, you get crashes, and by 10 o'clock it's all over, and the kids are still awake and can go around and get autographs from the drivers. And I think that is something that this new drag Top Fuel thing, if they embrace that as their mantra, I think they're probably going to be on a winner. I think if drag racing, after this, if it comes out with a little bit more of that, let's entertain the people who sit in there on the bleachers in the metal with their kids and get burnt and toasted all day. Let's make them our priority. And I think that's important for not only drag racing, but for all motorsport, because after this is over, not only motorsport's going to have to compete with every man and his dog out there for the spectator dollar. And that goes to movie theaters or whatever you want. So drag racing, pull the finger out. Let's make it all happen, and let's get the sport back to where it was, but don't go back in the past. Let's make it exciting for 2022 and beyond. Speech over.
Well, John, look, I like it, man, and thank you for being on the show. We'll let you go and enjoy the future, because you're in the future compared to us. You're already in Wednesday, so enjoy it, man.
Yeah, well, you're in the past, and that's the way it's been for 250 years. So that's
yeah.
But look, thanks to Bobby. Look, Bobby's a great supporter, and I'm not just pissing in his pocket here, but he's a great supporter of the sport in Australia. And I know when I write some things and I think, and I know people jump into Bobby, but his support is important, because Competition Plus has a huge following in Australia. And I know when I write something and people have my private number, they ring and I go, oh my God, it must have been published on Competition Plus overnight. So that's really good. And look, pencil in some date in January to return to let you know how it plays out.
Sounds good to me, John. Look, have yourself a good rest of your day.
Terrific. Thanks for your time. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Hey, Lee, it's a caboureta.
Yes, Sam.
It's a cob.
Right.
It's a cabbie. It's a cab. I like that. Like, it's the little things like that that I think we take for granted. In drag racing, we have people all over the map. That do what we do, and motorsports, like you said, in general. The thing I wonder is if in pro stock down under, do they play the down dirty games that we play up here? I was gonna ask that question, but I may be pouring fuel onto the fire there when I ask that. But it's good to see that these racers are saying, you know what, hey, we have enough support, we have enough stuff going on that we can create our own, racing and different things like that. Even with through the bad, there is still the good. So no matter what, I'm excited. I mean, hey, if there's a possibility us to be able to go down under, we go down under and get some drag racing, right? Get your nitro fix. I'm fine with that.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're still waiting on Matt Hagan. Have not seen him pop into the studio as of yet to bring him on. And Sam, to answer your question about the down and dirty games of pro stock, look, with Australia having the history of being a penal colony, I imagine they're up for any down and dirty games with their history down under. But no, I love that the sport of drag racing, that Competition Plus being the world's largest online magazine for drag racing, that we spill in to that news and get that news from Australia, because Wes Buck has said it. I agree with him. I know you do. Drag racing truly is the universal language. A drag race is as simple as, I'm starting here, we're racing to this point, whatever it is, go. That's as simple as it is. That's a drag race. Whether it's on foot, with tractors, cars, motorcycles, that's a drag race. And it happens everywhere. And most notably, principally, Great Britain and Europe, Australia, and then the pinnacle of drag racing here in the States, United States of America. So it was great to have John on and be informed and be enlightened on how to properly enunciate particular parts, pieces, and people.
And especially the cabbie.
Right.
I mean, Holly, I don't know what you're going to do, but I think anyone from Holly, if you have anything to do with this now, needs to be a cabbie. Like, I mean, carburetor just doesn't sound good anymore.
So while we're waiting on Matt, Sam, Top Fuel down there is going into uncharted territory, doing their own thing, doing their own series, sounds like, for the most part. And I have expressed that it would be interesting to see the NHRA shake some things up. And what we see Nitro standalone events, we see Door Slammer standalone events. And the way John mentioned, like, they're not sure what those supporting classes are going to look like, but it might be more akin to an extreme type of event, sporting event, and being on time. Do you think something like that would work in America? What if it was just Top Fuel going to a drag strip and saying, hey, we're going to keep this under 2-3 hours in a show? That's it.
We've started to see that, though. I mean, and it's a test to what we are seeing with Donald's long events, the duck man, whatever you want to call him. I mean, granted, I don't think he could, and this is no shot to him at all, but I don't think he could ever keep one of his events down to 2-3 hours, because I think 2-3 hours is mainly prepping the track. But, and then we see what Wes Buck has done with the Door Slammer event, the 3-day events down there, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday events he's done, with what he's done with Pro Mod, just a strictly Pro Mod. I think we're starting to see that, and you and I have talked about it, do an All-Star week where it's just a Nitro thing, or we're highlighting these classes. Do I think that's a bad idea? Definitely not. What it does is, like you said, it minimizes a show to where you can keep that 5-6-year-old in the seats the whole time, where he can watch something or go back and forth. And it's just something unique, it switches up the ball game, it switches up the playing field for everyone. gives us a certain thing. Like, there's some people that like pro stock. So you have a pro stock shootout. You have a nitro class, where it's just the nitro guys and girls for that weekend. And it caters to a different variety of fans, and it maybe gain different fans that we haven't had before just because it's a shorter event. I agree with doing that. I would like to see it. We've talked about it here on this show many of times. You and I have talked, on the phone about it. We have to stir the pot, and doing that is a test to what I see at the track. And when people ask me, who does the NHRA think cater to right now? I think it's the 40, 50-year-old man, that drives a Corvette or a Camaro. Not really so much the Mustang guys, but it's based off the appearance. So I think if we switch it up, I think we hit a different demographic, and I think it's great for the sport.
It's worth attempting at least, I believe, and break out of the norm. I think this year, though it was breaking from tradition, I'm sure people will remember this particular national event at Bristol over even the traditional Father's Day weekend because of what took place there, the conditions, the weather, being in the mountains that time of the year. I think people will remember that. Why? It was different. And we need that in the sport. We need some different things. We need it to be shaken up just a bit. That's not to say that I think we are moving in a positive direction, but continue to move it forward, continue to open up, and continue to try things. That's something that I really think under the Mellow Yellow, Powerade, Full Throttle banner, it didn't happen like it did with Winston. Winston as a sponsor pushed things forward. And I hope in the future we see, when we further step away from COVID, that Camping World will push NHRA drag racing forward in entertainment and as being a venue for the motorsport enthusiast and beyond.
Hey, Lee, I'm sitting here looking at some of these comments, and I'm not at home, obviously, as all you guys know. So it's not the easy access of doing it like I normally do. But looking down here to what Eric says, he says, I would not like the separation of NHRA. I go to spend the whole day. And I agree with you. Yeah, that comment right there. I agree with you. That, yeah, you do go. That's what we're accustomed to. But now if you can go, let's just say there's an exciting week going on, and maybe a Friday night is a door slammer night, a Saturday night is, or a Friday night at the track. Let's say you buy one ticket, and Friday night is all sportsman racing. Saturday night is all door slammer racing, and Sunday is Sunday during the day, or night or whatever for 2 hours is just nitro classes. That answers two questions there. Someone else said in the comments that we can't have night racing. We NHRA doesn't even do that. So if we can split that up and understand that, hey, we're catering to different fans, but you can buy an all-in-one ticket. Like you said, it changes it up, and it's just like the change up in the 4-wide. We do the 4-wide, in two different areas of the year. It brings a different dynamic to the sport. If you John had mentioned, monster truck. Well, monster truck isn't just the freestyle that we're all used to, because if you ask anyone what monster truck is, they're going to say they're jumping the cars, they're doing backflips, they're doing donuts, they're doing that. But there's actually a race part of monster truck, or the Monster Dram series. So give people a little different, switch it up. And I think that it grows the sport, and it touches on another thing that another comment was in there is from Drag Racing Central. It says NHRA needs a younger fan base. And, I hate to say it, but our fan base in today's society and our younger generation, you and I, Lee, even though we kind of think that we're old sometimes, is you have us for 2 hours. It's like driving down the road. You're going to click on Spotify and listen to 15 different genres of music in a 2-hour period. So Switch it up every once in a while. Give us something new to look at. Give us something exciting, because that same cookie cutter show does not pertain to everyone. Not saying that NHRA is doing a bad job at all. I'm just saying in these different times and different elements, if we can do it and give a 3 different show in one weekend, why not? Why not try it and see how it goes?
Work with the formula. See what can be done. I don't think every national events right now have gone beyond, or they're living beyond what I think, when you look historically, what a national event actually was. There was a day and time when you had 1, 2, 3, 4 national events. It meant that literally everyone around the nation was coming together to duke it out in drag racing. And now national events have become a tour, regular season tour and schedule. And you have people coming all over for any national event, sure, but the national events serve more towards the Camping World Series with Top Fuel and Funny Car in particular, because they're the ones that run the entire schedule, over anything else. Shake it up a little bit and see how other things work out, and see if you can have fan bases in other areas. And look, I know a lot of folks would say people come for Nitro. Well, people come for Nitro and stay for Nitro when Nitro is on the card. But I also see plenty of Door Slammer events sell out when you only have Door Slammers on the card and they're the top for that event. So it depends on what is the highlight of the show. That goes for anything. Do people always make sure they're in their seat for the opening band of a concert? They might not. They might just get there for the band that they bought the ticket for, even though you're going to have some of those fans that want to see the next and newest opening act. So it would be cool. Just shake it up. See what works. Look, if it doesn't work, you go back to what is tried and true. Ron, he chimes in and says, NHRA has to do something to entice the Door Slammers to run more and out west besides Vegas. The very simple answer to that, Ron, is, Sam, I think you can say it with me, money.
No, it's make them a pro class. I don't care what we need to do. I don't care what needs to happen. I think right now at this point we need to stand up. We need to have a full-on petition to make ProMod one of the pro classes. I just honestly believe, I think there's a lot of great talent. I think it's marketable for people moving up from the PDRA. I think it's marketable for people moving up, in the pro mod ranks. I think there's some great names and faces that could, expand their sponsorship deals or marketing partners deals for, a bigger season. And I just don't understand why we are not supporting them the way we should. So I'm going to go on record. If you guys haven't done already or haven't heard, maybe I'm still in a little bit of West Bucks fame here. But at this point, I'm going to say, let's make a stand. 2022, because 2021 is almost over. We got one more race there after SEMA here. But ProMod needs to be on the pro card for 2022. Let's make it happen. I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree with me, but I think there's some great names and faces in there that deserve to have a full season out there. So that's what I'm going to say. Let's make a stand here tonight, starting tonight. And we're going to make this happen. God bless America.
When you say full season, you mean as many as Pro Stock Motorcycle, as many as Pro Stock, as many as Top Fuel or Funny Car?
No. Not Top Fuel or Funny Car. No. I would say an in-between pro stock motorcycle. But I mean, even at this point, let's sit down, let's talk with the drivers, let's get on a Zoom call, let's send some emails, but let's see how many affordable races we can make it for them and give them. I just see a lot of names out there that I would like to see run a bigger season. I think there's, that's where I stand.
Well, the bottom line to that, it comes back to money. Comes back to money. And look, with Pro Mod.
So what we need, Lee. So Lee, you're telling me that we need more people to go to Camping World and buy campers and go out and go camping, go hunting, go fishing, hiking, whatever you need to do. And every time you buy one, you need to send a letter in to Camping World. Anyone out here that's watching, if you buy a new motorhome or anything, you need to send a letter to Camping World or a picture just saying, look what I have bought. I'm supporting the series and I support Pro Mod.
That's one way to do it. Be active as a fan, purchase at Camping World or purchase those E3 spark plugs and say, hey, I'm buying because you support drag racing and in particular Pro Mod. You know, one of the issues, Sam, is
people
Pro
are talking
Mod.
about electric cars. Oh, gosh.
Oh, let's
I'm not
not
reading
go there.
any
not
more.
right now.
I'm
not
not
now.
reading any more comments.
We're not reading any more comments.
No more.
The Pro Mod racer, most of them are some type of business owner, and they have time constraints elsewhere. And I would say, for the most part, it seems that Pro Mod regionally is more East Coast than West Coast. And I think if we're going to see drivers go west at all, there's got to be something for like more qualifying money or some help getting to the track, something.
For sure. There's got to be a little bit more incentive, like, bringing some of those Pro Mod cars. I know a good friend of mine who I think deserves to be on this show. If not, he'll be on my shows here very soon. Doug Winters was talking about it. Just the haul that he has to make to go, one way. With his unit and his rig and everything and time and family and bringing the team together, it does get expensive. And I mean, we're not knocking the fact that this isn't an expensive sport. We know that, we understand that, but we need to find a way. Like I said, if it's showing more support and showing it from the daily consumer, you and I, that buy something from Camping World, and if it's just showing it, trying to get more active support out there for them. I was just grazing through the comments before I seen that electric car comment, but talking about 11 races. That's a great number, but do we have the financial support to do it? No. I think we can promote it a little bit better, and I think there's ways to do it. There's people out there that are big supporters of Pro Mod or Door Slammer racing that would step up and say, hey, you know what, here you go.
Right. Eric
just my 2 cents.
Says they have West Coast Pro Mod at Bakersfield. They do, and we even mentioned them last week, the winner and the final round there. I think the essence of my comment earlier is if you look from East to West Coast, Door Slammer racing is stronger East Coast and central part of the nation, and even in Canada, it is just stronger. And then flip it. What is stronger out west? Nostalgia Funny Car and altered racing is far stronger out west than it is on the East Coast. And those are just drag racing regional flavors that we have currently. I want to put this to you, Sam. This is something Drag Racing Central has been proposing, even as a video on it. 8th Mile, NHRA. That would entice them. Do you agree with that or you disagree with that? What are your thoughts on NHRA going 8th Mile with Pro Mod like so many other series is out there?
I think we've heard this comment before. We've heard people say it, that 8th Mile is going to kill our NHRA drag racing. Balagna. I don't know if you like bologna, but balagna. Throw it away with some salami and everything else. 8th Mile racing right now is the most popular racing that we have across the board, right? 8th Mile racing is the most challenging, and I'm going to put this on the record. It is the most challenging. You have less time to mess up. 8th Mile racing does not wreck as much parts as quarter mile racing does. We talked about it with Lyle Barnett last week when I jumped on a little bit. 8th Mile racing is the most popular racing. I would love to see it. I don't see why not. It makes it a little bit more challenging for each driver. And that's the biggest problem. A lot of people are saying, these longer races and everything like that, it's less on the driver. It's, Driver doesn't have to do more. Well, make it a little bit more challenging. Go back to what we traditionally started was 8th mile racing. You go back and you look back in the archives of what racing was, Lee, and I'm pretty sure you've done it, or talking with Darren, the historical knowledge fact man that he technically is. But most racing started 8th mile. It's what we're based off of.
There's been a myriad of distances, whether it's mile, half mile, quarter mile, down to the 8th mile. I know of even some 10th mile drag strips near me. It's really been a matter of what could we do within the place in which we were racing. That's really what it boiled down to. And the essence of drag racing is you have A, B, whatever that distance is, whether it's quarter, 8,000. Now, for the purpose of NHRA, I disagree with you, Sam. I think it should remain at quarter mile. This is why. The NHRA remaining quarter mile with Pro Mod sets it apart from every other drag racing series that is door slammer centric. Just like the PDRA. How does the PDRA differentiate it from Northeast Outlaw Pro Mod Association or the NMCA or the MMRA or any of these one-off door slammer races? They've said we're going to separate the boosted cars and the nitrous cars, and that is working out favorably, and they're having more cars show up, a bigger show, and they're unique in the drag racing world. Right now, Pro Mod wise, other than Wes Buck's door slammer race, and mind you, Wes Buck even went under NHRA rules, quarter mile. Keep it unique, keep it at the top.
I get that. Lee, and you mentioned PDRA. I think we both agree that they should just combine those classes. I know there's a lot of cars coming.
No. Everybody wants to see that, and that is the only thing keeping PDRA unique from Shakedown, from the
True.
The Snowbird.
I give you that.
Keep them separate. It's working. And plus, the boosted boys don't want nothing to Jim Halsey.
Who does? Let's be honest. Who does? Like, since you're going to bring that up, that guy runs in his own class. It's him, and then there's the rest of the field.
Dude, I asked him in the interview after winning the championship and the last race for the PDRA. He gives very brief interviews. That's fine. That's just Jim's nature. I'm like, Jim, at this point, I think it's fitting to ask, when are you and the team going to Disney World? And he's like, well, we'll be in Florida for testing, so that's as close as we're going to get. They're getting right to work to go win another championship. That's all they're concerned about in the Halsey camp.
And that's what's good about it. You know what I mean? Take the time off to, give your guys and girls a break, but then let's get right back to work. I mean, that's where true champions, make themselves. And I think this is across the board, Perfect example is Matt Smith. He posted that post the next morning after his mishap there in the final round. He's up early and he says, we're going to go and test. I think that's where the true champions are made. Everyone in the comments are talking about, well, we don't want to watch specialty races. We want to watch championships. Well, championships are made not when you're watching. That's those late nights in the dyno room. That's those late nights trying to go through everything and make sure everything is fine-tuned before, before Saturday night and Sunday. That's where these things are made. So, Jim's got a very, very good grasp on things and where he wants to be and how he likes everything ran, and that's why he's saying that. I mean, yeah, there's times for game and play, but no Disneyland for that, man. Let's go test.
Right. Let's look in the comments, folks. We still haven't had Matt Hagan chime in.
I honestly think we're messing up Hagan's gym time. To be honest with you,
maybe.
It's about that time, so he's probably getting his swole on right now. Got it. Like I said, championships are made when no one's watching.
So Drag Racing Central says you don't race go-karts at Monaco. Maybe Pro Mod just belongs on the 8th mile, just like how Nitro is 1,000 feet. Nitro is 1,000 feet due to safety, and they also have had karting events at Monaco.
You get his point, Lee. You're just trying to read between the lines there, man. We want to see 8th mile racing. Let's just let it happen. Like, why do people think that 8th mile racing is so bad? Like, what is the mindset behind that?
No, I don't understand that.
it.
I don't understand where people think it's less racing. Completely do not understand that. But if we're talking about NHRA drag racing with Pro Mod there, that is the only distinction it's got that is different from all the other Pro Mod racing that is out there, because everyone else runs 1/8 of a mile. That's why. Hold it there. Be distinct. Be unique. Say to all the door slammers, drivers out there and teams, if you come race with us, you're doing it under a different rule set and a different package. Maybe open up the package to allow more people who happen to run 8th mile to come run on the 1/4 mile, but set a different standard. I like that from the NHRA.
I don't know what happened. You probably said something that my phone doesn't like because it just kicked me off. But hopefully you didn't say anything too bad about 8th mile racing. I don't know why people don't like it, don't understand it. It is what it is. I mean, I think it makes you a hell of a driver.
Speaking of Matt Hagan in the funny car class, what was your take? What was your mood there at Las Vegas in funny car? Look, Chris Morrell, I want to give him a shout out. He knocks out John Force, round 1, Little City Charger. That was very cool to see. And Bobby Bodie was in the field. He qualified. Another young and upcoming guy. We see some upsets in funny car. Cruz goes on to win, makes a case for the championship going into Pomona. And we have Ron Cap still leading about, I think it's 53, 58 points ahead of Matt Hagan. So from the funny car gang in particular, what was your feeling there in Las Vegas?
Lee, I don't like you right now because you're putting me on the spot. And
I
talked
am.
about this before. I mean, congratulations to Cruz and his team, to Caleb Cox and what they did. Congratulations to them. Was what I was expecting at all. I mean, I can be straightforward with you guys. I wasn't expecting that. Seeing Force go out first round, especially in Vegas, I think that's one of his, I would call that one of his home tracks, one of his better tracks. There's a lot to talk about when you go to funny car. It's so unpredictable race by race, round by round. You never know. To talk with Dale before the races there after Friday night and the momentum that they had going in, I really like to see what they had. But unfortunately, it didn't shake out for Alexis and Dale and the team. I was surprised, with I was honestly, Lee, and I guess this is where I'm going to end this one, is I was surprised with the outcome.
I think we all were, yet at this point in funny car, we're like not surprised. Like it's
exactly.
We are surprised, we're not surprised.
and I've said that to you on the show, right? Like why not everyone get a win? Did I think it was going to be this weekend for Cruz? No, but they've made leaps and bounds. They've made some. They've been testing. They've been close a couple of times, and like you said, you find what works for you, and you find what was good. And I think they had a tune-up that they had been playing around with, maybe some different setups, and they found the right one, and it kept going, like you said, A to B. Drag Race Central says, yeah, funny car in 2021 is worth the price of admission. It is. It's the one class where you never know what's gonna happen.
Hey, I would come just watch funny cars right now. That would be enough for me. I'd come to see just funny car, and been some stellar, great, close racing all year long. We've had some pedal fests in it. We've had J.R.R. Todd whacking the throttle to stage the thing at Indy. It's just been some beautiful moments in funny car this year. Has been great racing for sure. And to everyone out there that loves to say that fuel is boring and they never make it down the racetrack and the racing's not close. You haven't been watching this year, apparently. It has been highly competitive in that class. Now, Eric says this, and I agree with him, shocked to see Matt go out first round. A lot of shakeups across the board at Las Vegas. And we're seeing what we should see. We're coming down to the wire. We're coming down to the last moments of this season and this championship. And these moments stand out of, was that the moment that cost them, or would that have been the moment that could have cost them?
I think right now we're starting to see a lot of people that have put in the work. I just spoke about this. We're seeing a lot with in different classes, people that have just been putting in the work to finally have these opportunities to show up and show out, if you understand what I'm saying there. Is it a shocker? Yeah. Do you expect Hagan to go out first round? No way you don't expect him to go out. Do you expect John to go out first round? No, you do not. You know what I mean? But I think at the same time, you're starting to see some late season slums, and you're starting to see some late season blooming. You're starting to see some people that, are taking these small adjustments that we didn't really notice over the course of the season, and they started trickling their way up slowly and slowly and slowly. And now it's like, oh crap, this could happen. This may happen. So right now, I just think that we all just honestly need to strap in and just hold on, because who knows what we're going into, especially with this point and a half thing. Did Funny Car need a countdown this year? Nah.
No, it didn't.
They didn't. Does Funny Car need this point and a half? Nah, they don't. There's enough excitement already with what we have right now. I know you can't do it, but if I'm NHRA, I'm saying, hey, we're not giving you guys a point and a half. Like, let's just, I hate to say it, but you remember when you used to play Mortal Kombat as a kid, and the guy used to be standing there spinning, and then he goes, finish him. Like, that's what I'm waiting for. Like, who wants to step up and say, you know what, this is my year? So if there was a way to do it, take out the points and a half and just say, look, we're going to run this true and see what happens at the end of it.
So Drag Racing Central says the upsets kind of put the JFR DSR only arguments to rest. I would say this year, everybody that you expect to win in Funny Car, they've won. Like, the only people we need to win is the people that we don't expect to win, that can nip at the competition. But from John Force Racing to Alexis DeJoria, everybody you expect to win or has the capability to win, they've won. It has been such a great year in Funny Car.
Lee, like we said it, with all the announcement, it's the year of the funny biz, right? I think every year has a season or a group, a class that is like, okay, what's going to happen next? And we haven't really had this in Funny Car in a while. You've known who was going to be the points champion fairly or early. It's kind of the same way with what we're kind of staring down the barrel at with Top Fuel right now, right? We haven't had this really funny shake up. Oh my God, this is probably the first time in a while that we've had the same points leader coming out of a race that was in the lead. So, like I said, just hold on. Ron's gonna have to continue to do what he's doing, but I think right now Pomona is going to be shaken. Like, I think that airport that's right next to it needs to have a couple of jets there, because there's going to be some people hot and steaming, ready to get out of Pomona as soon as that final round goes off. Or after the first round, I think there's we're going to all be sitting there like, okay, what is going on? Looking at ladders, crossing stuff out, adding
Right.
stuff.
And Sam, not to mention, this year on the West Coast, Funny Car has been well represented at every race, and there has been a bump to the fields. We could potentially, though their performance has been good, we may go into Pomona. There might be a final round of qualification situation where someone in the championship needs to make it in. You never know.
Oh, I mean, could you now, okay, people want to talk about, racing and everything like that. Could you imagine stacking and playing the ladder at that point? Yeah, I mean, you're not seeing any of the, but there is a team out there that's got a couple of cars. I mean, you know what I mean? So everyone wants to talk about there's no strategy in drag racing, but there's a strategy. Whether it's John Force deep staging you, taking his time, running everything first, there's a strategy to everything that goes on and goes down that track. Now that you guys are paying attention to it, you see it. And I guarantee you, mark my words, I said it last week that Erica was going to be in the final. I said, don't bet against Red. I said she was going to win it, but yeah, I know you did. Congratulations one time. But don't be surprised come Saturday. I'm going to say come Saturday in Funny Car that you don't see some late minute swapping, late minute lane changes, late minute this, late minute that, and then come Sunday, if we don't know for sure, I'm gonna let you guys know we're gonna see every trick in the book of books that does not exist. And I think I found the book right here. This is what it looks like in drag racing playing the game. It's whatever you can figure out that day in that moment in time right there. That's the book. If whatever you can figure out, it's going to be played. And I don't blame people for doing it.
Well, Sam, look, inform everybody what you have going on with your own media outlets this particular week and where they can see you next, and we'll wind the show down.
Yeah, Sam Smith. Again, you guys can check out Slam and Sam's Facebook page. It's just an entourage of everything that I do, a collaboration of who I am, what I do, and the crazy stuff that I get into. Also, Outlaw Performance ENT. Please go over to YouTube, like, subscribe, hit that notification so you guys can see the videos that are coming out. Doing some photography work, helped out the Ashley's team here this past weekend. So a little bit of stuff coming out of there. My own podcast, In the Groove podcast. Taking a little break, revamping the show, but we will be back shortly as we're ramping up to get back home. Been on the road for a couple of weeks, but yes, please check me out. Outlaw Performance ENT, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Yeah, we're up to some great things, and 2022 is really starting to shake up to be a great year for us if everything goes as planned. If you want to be a marketing partner, please let us know. Hit us up anytime. But yeah, Slam and Sam is up to some great things. Lee, thank you as always for, when I travel, you help me out, I help you out. But it's been another great show, Lee. What do you got going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, Monday Morning Racer, Thursday night. Be sure to check out my show, Between the Slicks. Not sure as guest-wise who I'll have Thursday night, working that out, trying to have Terry Haddock and one of his crew members on. We'll see if that does, in fact, happen. But we'll be talking drag racing once again Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Monday Morning Racer media outlets, Between the Slicks. This weekend, I will be at the Southeast Gasser Association's last race. Championships are on the line. Several battles going on with those drag racing reenactors going all the way back to 1967 in modern day. That is at Shelby, North Carolina, Shadyside Dragway. If you're in the area, be sure to come out on Saturday and catch some great drag racing. Sorry, we didn't have Matt Hagan on the show. Not sure what happened there. Miscommunication. Maybe he didn't get the email. Not sure. We'll figure it out. We'll have him on soon enough. Thank you all for tuning into the Competition Plus Power Hour. I'm the Monday Morning Racer, Lee Kraft, for Bobby Bennett, Slammin' Sam, and the entire team. Until next time, y'all keep believing what you're reading right here on Competition Plus.
In the race for quality, there is no finish line. Jerry Bickle Race Cars is a one-stop chassis shop for drag racing performance parts and race components. For over 50 years, Jerry Bickle Race Cars has been an essential part of racers' plans for building world champion race cars. Our parts department is stocked with every part a racer might need. Log on to jerrybickle.com for more information. We build anything with doors. jerrybickle.com.